I'm Dean of School of Education and Humanities at Manav Rachna University, and we have embarked upon a huge transformation journey for the past 2 years, where we are really doing what we feel is the most important part of the teaching learning, which is assessments. So we have been experimenting a lot with the experiments, with the assessments, and I can tell you it's not easy. We have been moving away from year-end assessments, and we are looking at and what we have seen is that with those experiments that we are doing with continuous assessments, many of the things that my, the fellow colleagues have spoken about, I think formative and the summative and the opportunities, and also to look at assessments in a very different way, and especially when we talk about the digital tools. So the assessment to not mark the, not to assess the end product, but the process is something that is giving us good results, because when our students use those tools, they realize that they could not put their thinking together and they lost the marks, even though their product looked very exciting. I think one of the other things is that we are looking at ways of making building better connections. We talk about the interdisciplinarity, but I sometimes feel that between one module to the other, those connections are not very clear. For example, we right now, because it's education, we took our students to visit the Mothers International School alongside with their Mirambika, the two schools that are there. So we picked up on the philosophy, from the foundations of philosophy that we teach to going into school organization and management. Two schools, same philosophy, but looks very different and works very different, because the school organization and management is very different, which allows them to use the philosophy and make it more intangible into when they walk into a classroom. I think this has been a very conscious desire by us to build better connections between the modules that we are teaching, so that they understand in the real life context of what we are doing. Another change, and so even the assessment in this case was modular, intradisciplinary in that sense, and we wanted them to pick up artifacts that stood out for them when they went for that visit. So we are really trying to experiment a lot with the assessments, making our assessments more real life oriented, creating modules like we just introduced last year this module on using authentic teaching learning material. Pick up anything, make it into a teaching learning material, and that is something that we feel this going to bring further innovation in the system. We are also encouraging students to use ChatGPT. In some places we're saying use it. We are happy to give it to you. Use it. Acknowledge it, use it, because then it's a level playing field for everybody, and our assessment is designed in such a way that that is something that is not really contributing to the evaluation in that sense. Another initiative, I hope I can remember some of them. We've also started doing, co-constructing this conversation about AI and the effectiveness of AI that they are using in the classrooms, because sometimes children are beginning to lose their confidence. They feel that what the AI is giving them is better than what they can produce themselves. So we are actually using little examples of doing small assignments and getting them to put the same prompt, and then evaluating that work, and that becomes an assessment. That you created, you use the AI to create the same assessment or same assignment, and now you evaluate to see which is better, and they have realized that sometimes what they are doing is far better than what the AI can give them, and I think that kind of confidence building is required. When it comes to teachers, we are also understanding that such major assessment reforms also requires a pedagogical shift. And it means for us that we start thinking very differently of how we view teaching learning. So going into experiential learning is something that we've all spoken about, and that is something that we are building on. We are also looking at moving away from tool-based trainings for our teachers to a pedagogical innovation through using of AI. That means use it for an approach, don't use it as a tool. So this is something that we are doing. We've also got a Center for Advanced Learning at the School of Education and Humanities that is not only working with various universities, but it also has a research arm of AI in education, and we do faculty development programs. We work on action research with schools in this area as well. So these are some of the initiatives, but I think the biggest initiative and the biggest change for for us has been in terms of assessments. We are only beginning to experiment, but I think that change is really giving us a lot of benefit in terms of how we are adapting to the AI. We're also experimenting in a big way with open book examinations. We're saying that there is no need for you to learn up. Get a cheat sheet. I allow you to get a cheat sheet, and the initial experiments that we had, it got the children very excited, except when they reached the examination hall, they realized that it was really of no use to them, because the questions were very, very anecdotal, based on their own critical engagement with the material, and not like just you're just kind of writing down what you might have learned or what has been explained. So I think it requires a significant shift for all of us. I think one of the actionables that I would really like to request is that can we create communities of practice, and can we do a strong collaboration between universities to actually have those communities that can share the best practices.